What is up, world? You are in tune to the Cowboys Global Cast with your usual suspects, myself and Tom. Man, what's up, Tom? How you doing, man?
I'm not doing too bad, all things considered. I don't think I'm taking this loss as hard as a lot of people I'm seeing out there are. That I think we're apparently expecting us to go 17-0, but I mean, I took the L, like a lot of people did. Like, it hurt, but things are gonna be okay. So I guess it's más o menos. I'm okay.
Yeah, here at the you're good, man. The Cowboys Global Cast at the FFSN Network, man. We are DC4L. We are Dallas Cowboys for life. That means for life, man. I mean, we win with them, we lose with them. I think the big story here is, before we even actually get into the game, is Cowboy fans. You guys are toxic. Yeah, really, y'all are toxic. A lot of you choose to go bananas and ham and overboard when your team wins 3 games in a row or 2 games in a row. Oh, they're the best thing since, like, they're aliens. Nobody can ever beat them. They're Teflon Dons, and they lose 1 game. Oh, the world is over. Sink the ship. We're out the playoffs. It's over with. Dak is horrible. He threw 1 interception. You did know he was going to throw an interception this year. You did know that was going to happen, right? You did know we were going to lose a game, right? This is football. This is football, and you're talking about the top 1% of people who ever play this sport are playing. So you could be thinking you're playing a sorry team, and guess what? They'll beat you. Jacksonville found that out this weekend. Not only did Jacksonville find that out, Miami hung 70 on Denver, a professional football team. These are things that are not supposed to happen. And in the strange world, the Cardinals went in and handled their business and spanked us. They put us over their knee and gave us a good old-fashioned butt whoop.
That's exactly what happened.
Cowboy fans, please curb your toxicity. You're too toxic, man.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. Like, I basically, until like last year, I did not use social media like at all. And I mean, I was one of these guys. In real life, I'm a programmer, so it's not like I'm technology averse. But I was a late adopter of smartphones. A late adopter, like when I was younger and we had like MySpace and all that stuff. Like, I use social media. But I never really, like, I had a Facebook at one time whenever I, was like 19, 20 years old, but then just like shut it down at some point because I was just like never get on it. And it wasn't until so just no social media use whatsoever. And you always hear about, how bad, things can get on there. Well, I guess it was a few months ago, I think it was like in April, I got a Twitter account, and this is off season, right? Like, people are talking to draft. We get into training camp, like, everyone's optimistic. Jalen Tolbert's gonna, Jalen Tolbert's that dude. Mozzie Smith is that dude. Like, this is like just so much optimism, right? And I'm like, yeah. And then after this game on Sunday, I was like, all those people were like renting their clothing and covering their, head and ashes.
Yeah, and sackcloth and ashes at this point. Listen,
like, it's okay.
It's 1 game.
It's okay.
It's 1 game.
And like, I feel like a typical response that you would get to that is like, this team has talked, they've been talking so much and they didn't back it up, or you point out, all the flaws that we saw on Sunday, and like, that's all justified. But it's just like, I don't come into a season thinking that we're not going to lay an egg or two, like just totally lay an egg or two, like, a couple times a season. Like, that's just going to happen. Like, I just don't think people really fully appreciate just how hard it is to win games in the NFL. You look at teams that, get 5 or 6 wins and you're like, oh, they're garbage. We ought to just be able to run over them. It's like, you are going to do that sometimes, but like, that's a team that won 5 or 6 games in the NFL. Like, that's hard to do. That's hard to do. And you win, 12 2 seasons in a row, like we have, like, that's obviously even more difficult to do. It's like, it's going to happen sometimes.
And we're 2-1. We're not 0-3.
There's right now there are two teams I think that have played 3 games. There's two 3-0 teams, and Philadelphia might join them tonight. And I think so if they win, I think that would only make 3-0 teams. So it's like we're 3 games into the season. Basically, everybody has already lost a game. Like it's hard.
Yeah, no, I mean it's challenging. The Ravens lost. Talk to the Ravens. Ravens lost to the Colts, and it was a horrible call they lost on. But again, to Tom's point, it takes a lot. A lot goes into winning an NFL football game. Yeah. And I need you guys to understand, it's not that deep, bro. It's not that deep. Don't go burn all your Cowboy stuff and hit and punch holes in your TV, because you're just gonna have to go buy another one, right? I understand it's that relationship with the Cowboys that we've had this time, and we've had those things happen where we've had disappointments, but you need to manage your disappointments. Manage them. So let's get to the game, man. And I mean, when I look at this game, the first thing that strikes me is 288 yards. Was it 288 or 220? I think it's 288 yards rushing.
I was thinking it was like under 250, but I mean, whatever it was, like it was over 200.
It was 288 yards rushing. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable from a defense that is not. Notice I didn't say that the quarterback lit us up. They rushed for 228 yards on us, or 288 yards, something. It was over 200. They put 2 buttons up on defense that is supposed to be our strong suit. Yeah, it's not our strong suit stopping the run, but we are supposed to fix that problem, And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but DQ, if you don't stop this, if you need to stop the nosebleed. And I mean, we have some brain farts and some stuff. And a couple of runs, like Dono, his first play of the game for Dono, he was out of place. He came down on the inside where he should have came down, keeping outside contained. Josh Dobbs would have never got outside for that big run, but it was his fault. And then the angle that was took by Jaron Kearse when number 4 took off up the lane on a running play, that was a bad angle. There are certain things that can be fixed, right? That we can really rebound from this, but y'all gonna have to fix it. You're gonna have to patch up that hole. What you think, Tom, about all these rushing yards that we gave up?
Yeah, so it's not 280, but we're splitting hairs. I just look at it, it was like 220-ish, something like that. Yeah. Which we're split. It doesn't really matter. Like you got the ball run down your throat, whether it was 280, 220, 250, like whatever. Like you got the ball run down your throat, right? A lot of that came in two big chunks. And I'm not saying, hey, the Cowboys defense had a good day defending the run aside from these 2 plays. That's not what I'm saying. But I want to look at 2 plays like specifically. So there was the Dobbs run on the first series of the game, right? I remembered it being the first play too, and it's not. They ran 1 or 2 plays. They at least ran 1. I think it was the second down play that they ran the zone read and Dobbs took off. And I felt like what happened on that play totally is just a perfect representation of the kind of mistakes that the defense made the rest of the game. This team is getting a little overzealous, and we're hunting the big plays in terms of, I'm not saying we shouldn't be hunting big plays, but you can get too aggressive, right? And if you go back and you watch that Dobbs run, Micah is a little too aggressive, and he gets picked on there. He's fast enough, so they targeted him on that zone read, right? And you're right. I think it was Dono Wilson. I knew it was a safety. It was either him or J-Ron, but I think you're right that it was Dono. It was a combination of them two in my mind. Micah made a mistake, going in at the running back, biting on the fake too hard. And then he wasn't able to catch back up to Dobbs. It was too late. And then Donovan Wilson also is too aggressive on that play. And then I don't know if it was later on in the same drive. No, because they got 3 there, right? So it was like basically that one really big play, and then we held up, and then they, kick a field goal. Well, next drive, the touchdown run, it's not a zone read, but Micah does the same thing where he's just like, he's shooting the B gap rather than like staying disciplined. And I mean, like, I'm not a scout, but like, it just seems like that's, I don't think that like, that's not proper, like in technique, right? Like,
no, anybody who knows football knows that the only person who stayed gap integritous this whole game was Tank, but keep going.
Tank was the only one who did that. So Micah shoots the B gap like super hard on that play too, and it leaves this gaping hole on the right side. So I mean, like, if Micah's probably the best non-quarterback in the league. So like, I'm not trying to upset people with Micah criticism, but if Micah is just disciplined, which he can be, but if he's just disciplined on the first 2 drives, I mean, I'm not sure they even come away with points on those first 2 drives. And then on the, oh God, what's his name? Is it what's the receiver that they use, number 6, that comes in and runs the ball sometimes that had the.
Oh, you mean James Conner? You talking about James?
No, not James Conner. Maybe I'm getting the numbers mixed up. But who was the guy who scored the touchdown later?
The one that scored Moore. He took the
Wandale Moore or Rondale Moore or something.
He took the
Sorry, I was just forgetting his name. So Sam Williams, he's not shooting the B gap, but this is like what is this, like a 2nd and 2 or something? This play that they broke. So there's like this is the score where they get another touchdown, they go up, they get to 15, right? So Sam Williams, he's coming around the end like it's 3rd and long, right? And completely leaves another gigantic hole. Like the ends just have to be more disciplined, and like that's what we were doing the whole game. Like we've got guys all along the defensive line except for Tank that look like they're playing like it's 3rd and long. You know what I mean? And like they're trying to drop somebody for a loss.
Just like you're saying, they're hunting and they're going after food. And their prey was a lot smarter. It was like, you wasn't hunting wildebeest this time. You know what I'm saying? You was hunting them big deer. Them deer was getting antelopes. They getting up out of there. You know what I'm saying?
It made me think of like Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid. Like Mr. Miyagi, like he uses your movement and your aggression, right? Like he just stands there, right? And when you go to attack him, he sidesteps and, trips you or something like that and puts you to the ground. And to me, like that was like the Cardinals' like game plan, right? Was to totally take advantage of, count on, and exploit our aggression. And they did it the whole game, like to perfection. Like, and you just got to tip your hat to them. And honestly, if it was just like we were just getting dominated and getting blown up, like that did happen some. But it's like, if that was what was happening the whole game, like we were just getting destroyed in the trenches and just getting like completely outclassed, then like I would be way more worried about the run defense. But because really what it was is just guys just not being disciplined, and like they can go back and look at the tape and be like, you just that's not how you play this. That's not how you play the spot in that situation. And so just don't do that. Like calm down a little bit and just like play disciplined football.
Yeah, you got to pick your spots to be aggressive. Aggression is good when in spurts. When you're aggressive in spurts, that's when it's good. And it's funny that you mentioned discipline, because now let's get on the pass defense. Malik Hooker got burnt twice on the same freaking play. Malik, can't happen, man.
A little sell route. I remember the one, obviously that was kind of a backbreaker, but I don't remember the well, whatever. Like obviously Malik made a big mistake. Two
big mistakes. And you can't really I can't really say that it was like a big pass day, because he only passed for like 180 some odd yards. Yeah. It wasn't a big pass day at all, but they didn't need it. They got their points, and then their defense did to us what we've been like, okay, y'all need to be better in the red zone. And we weren't better. We were bad in the red zone. 1 for 5. That's bad. That's not Cowboy football. That's not how we get down, right? And everyone says that they want to to jump in and talk about the tight ends. I don't really believe that it was the tight ends thing, right? I'm going to show you. There's a couple of plays, and I might show them or I might not. But we're going to talk about them. Couple of plays down on the goal line. CeeDee's wide open in the corner route. I'm on X and I'm watching Dez Bryant yell corner route. CeeDee's wide open. He hits those all the time. That's a corner route. What is wrong with out of 12 a naked boot? A naked boot, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Now, can I say that the play calling on the red zone had something to do with the fact that we were missing 3 all-pro linemen? I can say that, right? I can say that without a shadow of a doubt. We were missing Tyler Biadasz, we were missing Tyron, and we were missing Zach, the all-world. You know what I'm saying? So, those guys been in. Maybe he tries a play action or 2. Maybe he tries a naked boot. We scoring those naked boots all the time. It's like stealing. It's so easy for us. It's like stealing. You know what I'm saying? And when they catch on, there's always somebody on the backside that can just pop up and throw it to, right? So I feel as if I was ready to go in and just throw water on them and then throw flour on them and then kick them in the lake for not scoring. But I feel like that there's a real valid explanation for why we were so bad in the red zone. What do you think?
We know it. Everybody listening to this podcast knows it. Mike McCarthy knows it. Dak knows it. Everybody knows it. It's no secret. We're having problems in the red zone. And I was somebody that before Sunday, I was telling everybody this is nothing to be concerned about at all, because this is a team that's to my knowledge, I believe, I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe they've led the league in red zone efficiency for the last 2 seasons. So I mean, and a lot of that has to do with the quarterback. Like Dak's very good. Dak's very good in the red zone. And to me, like you look at the situation that they were in the first 2 weeks, we talked about this, the situation they were in the first 2 weeks where they're playing with big leads and they know we just need to not turn the ball over. And we just need to make sure we get 3. We're not trying to score a touchdown, but we're just going to take what they give us. And if they don't give us anything, then we're just going to take 3 and move on because we got a big lead. And like, that was the story, right? Like that was the defense of why the poor performance in the red zone first 2 weeks. And that's what I was saying. But like, you look on Sunday and it's like, what's the reason now? Because we're behind the entire game and we still can't punch it in. And so I want to say, we're 3 weeks in, we're 3 regular season games into this new offense. And I want to wait until week 5 or 6 before I say we've got major problems, or before I'm ready to say I don't know if we're going to fix this. But right now, I just fully expect that we're going to. I think that some of it is play calling, some of it is it's a new offense, and I just think we're gonna figure those things out. Like I do also think that we've been a little too predictable. But again, I also think that that's something that could just have to do with the fact that that we were playing with the big leads in the first 2 games. But basically, first and second goal, I think I saw yesterday that we're running the ball like 80-90% of the time, like on
85% of the time was that number.
You can't be that predictable. You can't be that predictable when you're down. Like maybe it's justifiable in those first 2 games to just run the clock, get 3, and move on. But yesterday, yeah. And also maybe, we'll run the ball more effectively. Like if we get 2 or 3 of those, guys that were sitting out yesterday, we get 2 or 3 of those guys back. We'll run the ball more effectively. But just we kept getting in that like no man's land. Like, I always get so discouraged when we get a first and goal at like the 9 or the 10 yard line, You're just like, dang, why couldn't the first down have come at the 5? Why can't we have, first and goal at the 5 is a big difference between between that and first and goal at the 10. First and goal at the 10, it feels like it's hard to get 6. And it just seemed like every time that we were getting first and goal, like it was outside the 5, it was like 8, 9, 10 yard line. But yeah, I mean, they got to figure those things out, and I think they will.
Yeah, and you speak of the running game, which was decent. I mean, Tony went over 100 again yesterday. The thing that I would tell you,
5.4 yards a carry. I think that's what it was on design runs. So that's excluding Dak's scrambles. I think it was 5.4 yards per carry.
Right.
Design runs. Like close to about 160 yards rushing, I think is what it was on design runs. So like that's a good day. That's a good day running the ball.
It is. And what I say about this is those guys, if we're running the ball, they hold up against, in play action, because you got to be able to hold your block. And they were really getting the Dak. They sacked him. They were getting the Dak, making Dak throw it away. They were making Dak run, So I think line integrity was so bad. He didn't think about running those type of plays. But look, man, I mean, if you got him in there, it's trial by fire, man. Look, we got to do it. It is what it is. You're going to have to learn it sometime. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to learn it sometime. Anyway.
Yeah, and honestly, like as far as the offensive line play goes, I thought, I didn't think that they were very good in pass protection, to say the least. But this offense is just, and we talked about it before. We're talking about it now. We're going to talk about it a lot in the future. It's designed to get the ball out quickly. And like, to me, it didn't really affect the pass. Like the poor pass protection didn't really, to me, have that negative of an impact on the passing game as poor pass protection has in past seasons, and in Kellen Moore's offense, where you have slow developing routes. That to me, I thought they were very good. The line, the replacements and the line as a whole did very good in the run game, and didn't do so great in pass protection. But I don't think it really hurt us that bad. To me, where they killed us, it was penalties.
Thank you for downshifting. That's the next thing.
Practically every drive. When we were between the 20s, we were The only thing that stopped us was penalties. Go back and watch that game. I've watched it twice now. It's practically every single drive. It either finished in the red zone, or it was killed by a penalty.
Yeah, and we had 13 penalties for 109 yards.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that's just, it's bad. You cannot win a game with 13 penalties for 109 yards.
Nope.
If you won that game, I don't even believe in luck, but that was luck. If you won a game where you were penalized 13 times for 109 yards, it was luck. It was luck.
I'll have to look it up sometime and bring that information to the podcast, because I think we probably got some people that would find it interesting. But EPA, expected points added, and I know it's this. A lot of people understand it, a lot of people don't, and like maybe we'll talk about it and like break it down on here one day. But either way, advanced statistic that everybody uses that sort of explains the points that you can expect to score based on how you did on a particular play. And I think I have seen that like false starts are it's basically like giving the other team a half a point or a point like every time you do it. And I think I've seen that a hold is basically giving the other team like a point or two. Like every time that you do it, like you're just literally just giving them a point. Practically every false start or hold, like between half a point and 2 points, depending on the penalty. Yeah, they're killer. They're killer. And you get 6 or 7.
I will say, I don't see the offside. That offside did not see it. I think the ref missed 2 PIs that should have went in our favor. You know what I'm saying? The same. And here's the thing: the same call he made, the ref made, where he gave Michael Gallup, he gave Clark PI against Michael Gallup, was the same guy doing the same thing in the end zone twice, once against Michael Gallup and once against CeeDee Lamb. And those two calls, no, to make a call and pick it up is insulting.
That's the thing to me.
That's insulting.
To me,
you made the call. You're picking it up now? Come on,
I think
man.
it was I thought live it was a difficult call to make. On replay, it looked to me like it was definitely the right call, but it was so close that to me it's more forgivable to miss the call live but to me it's just I don't get the picking up the flag. It's like you called PI on replay, we can see it was PI. I know that they're not looking at it, and then you pick the flag up, like you saw it, you called it. Like I don't that was awful. That really set me off. That really set me off.
Ridiculous. So talk to me about that. Talk to me about how Michael Gallup did in this game.
Man, I thought he looked great. And I often take credit for people's performance when I'm just like insulting them up and down and they just like magically start doing well. I think I did it with Quinn Ewers against Alabama, like middle of the third quarter. I just started trashing him on Twitter. And then he starts doing good. Well, I'm watching the game with my dad yesterday, and there was some drop back where, Dak's just, sitting there, sitting in the pocket like he actually got good protection. He's just sitting there in the pocket, can't find anybody to go open to. They show it on replay, and they're showing the routes that people were running, how they're covered up. And one of them, it looked like Gallup was just like jogging on the track or something. And I was just like, he's trash. Get him out of there. He's washed. He's totally done. And then he has like 5 catches after that or something. I liked how you saw him targeted and making catches in different situations. Do you know what I mean? Like you saw him on crossers, you saw him on slants, you saw him on goes. And I mean, there was a couple of double moves in there that I thought looked good. They don't have the best cornerbacks. Their cornerbacks are not very good. But to me, he looked good. He looked good. And he looked good after the catch too. Michael
Gallup.
Michael Gallup has he's not Dez. I'm not trying to say he's Dez, but like he's got a little bitty bit. He's got a little bitty bit of Dez after the catch, in terms of like he looks mean. He doesn't look like a guy that you would want to tackle, if you're weighing, 210.
Yeah, definitely. And then I could say Brandon Cooks didn't look 100% healthy. He didn't. Looked like he forced himself out there. Got a couple catches. I just don't think we use speed packages. Again, this loss falls on everybody. Defense, Mike McCarthy, everybody. I didn't see him try to switch because when Dowdell got in there, you saw the pace change, right? Yep. So why not begin to go with Deuce and change the pace some more, right? What we're doing wasn't working. Let's try something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This wasn't a game beaters. This wasn't a world breakers defense. It wasn't a world breakers defense. But again, I don't think our podcast is going to go this long, that long now, because I don't believe that we should, beat a dead horse. We lost. But when it comes down to it, man, McCarthy got to eat some of this, and you need to figure out what's going on in the red zone. You need to fix that. You need to patch that up. And then here's the thing: in my mind, stop. You don't win games on paper. You win games on the field. So stop it. Stop trying to rest people because you think you win and this one is over, it's in the bag. If they can go, let them go. Now, if it's one of them things where they can't go and they can't go and you saving them from them, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But, you let Cooks go. You let Dono go. Put them on pitch counts. Get them out there. This is all hands on deck. But I will say this. Tank said it right. You know what I'm saying? Tank, I'm going to quote Tank, and I'm going to quote Dak. Dak said the press got what they wanted. I threw a pick. We lost. Y'all are happy.
I love that he said that. I love how he's getting salty about it. I love it.
Absolutely. The Dolphins put up 70 points on somebody, but we are the talking points of the NFL. That's the Dallas Cowboys. Hi, haters. Love to see you. Thank you for being here. Congratulations, you got to see what you wanted. Second piece of it is Tank said, this is a humbling experience. We got our butts beat, and now we should know that we got to go to work and we have to play every week. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Now you know you're not the Teflon Don you think you are.
Yeah.
It's going to take you coming into every game, respecting everybody to kick everybody's behind. It is what it is. And we can do that.
Yep.
That's my parting shot, by the way. It's on by you.
Well, what I'll say is nothing that I saw. So I'm watching the game live yesterday at my dad's house, and he kind of lives out in the country a little bit, and I don't have good cell service out there. So, and I'm spending time with him anyway. So I'm not, when you're watching the game with somebody that you spend a lot of time in conversation, you're watching the game, you're watching closely, but just not as close as you would, when you're by yourself. So I recorded the game and came home last night and watched it by myself. And I'm just not in the least bit discouraged by that game at all. Not in the least bit. I came into that game thinking this is a team that should absolutely be considered. This should be in that top tier of teams where you say these 4, 5, 6 teams, like they can win the Super Bowl this year. There's nothing that I saw yesterday that tells me that can't happen. A lot of things went wrong. I think most, if not all of them, are easily fixable. I think that they had an exceptional game plan. And I mean, there's part of me that just wants to go and thank them for exposing us in the way that we did, in the way that they did. Because it's not like it's, week 14 and we're like, oh goodness, like who are we? It's week 3. It's fine. I'm not guaranteeing a Super Bowl or anything like that. Nobody can do that any year. All you can do is say, we got the pieces in place and just roll the dice and see what happens, right? And there's nothing that I saw yesterday. Dak is fine. The wide receivers are fine. Tight ends are fine. The offensive line is fine. We're going to figure things out in the red zone. Don't dry your eyes, Cowboys Nation. Don't worry your little head. It's going to be okay. We're going to win a lot of football games.
Stop being so toxic. Stop it.
Hey, this is people just process things differently, I mean, I think I probably used to process things, a Cowboys loss in a way that's a lot more similar to what I've been seeing, in the last 24 hours than I do now. I don't. So we gotta be patient. We gotta be patient. Everybody will be talking about how, Michael will get 3 sacks next week and, we'll win by 3 scores, and everybody will be saying, we're shoo-ins to win the Super Bowl again. So everybody gets a little too high when they're high, and they get a little too low when they're low.
And get this, I'm sure we lost 3 or 4 games the year we won the Super Bowl. I'm almost sure we lost 3 or 4 games, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. You're talking about like the 90s Super Bowl?
94, 95.
I don't think
back to back. Even I think in 93 we lost 2-3 games.
Right? I don't think that. I'm pretty sure that we never won 14 games in any of those seasons.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
My point
is
might
have even. I think it was like 11-5, 12-4, like maybe 13-3. I don't. But yeah, I mean, we would lose 3 or 4 games. Yeah, in those seasons.
You need to be tuned up. Somebody needs to tune you up to piss you off.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And every now and then, you need another tune up. You need your oil change. You know what I'm saying? And
so I mean, like, this is. I'm sorry for cutting you off. It's just like you're making a really good point, and I just want to piggyback on it real quick. It's like I almost know for a fact that at least one of those Super Bowl teams was 12-4, at least one. And so we're talking about that's considered to be one of the most dominant runs by one of those dominant football teams, one of the most dominant runs by a football team over the span of 4 years, like ever, right? And I know for a fact that at least one of those teams went 12-4. So that's 1 in every 4 games. right? Like one of the most dominant teams like ever, one of the most celebrated like teams ever, lost 1 in every 4 games that they played. Like, come on, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you need a tune-up. You need a tune-up, man. Somebody need to change your oil so you can stop reading your own press, stop thinking that you're so great, and come back down and work. Put on your hard hat and work every game during the season. Shoot, Kansas City won it last year and they lost 4 games. Come on, man. Come on. It's one game. Stop being toxic. Stop being toxic. For myself, for Tom, man, we thank you guys for watching and for listening to the Cowboys Global Cast here at the FFSN Network. We ask for you to just go ahead and drop us a like, drop us a follow here on the YouTube. Also on you're listening to us on all of your podcasts, man. Make sure that you just check us out and give us a review, man. Give us a 5-star review. Let us know that you love what you're seeing. Let us know that you like it. And man, we out of here. We'll talk to you later. Peace.